Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin,
I am Sir Nick.
and we are here to gab your ears off about whatever we want. And tonight, that is Alien Earth, Episode 7.
Emergence. I don't know
I'm not,
why I went dramatic with that one. Emergence. There you go.
I mean, it does sound like it's supposed to be, important about something. That's one thing okay, I'll try not to, get too nitpicky. I say that every time. But
Same.
I'd say the titles are on this show are pretty lame. Other than the one that was basically taking half a tagline from the first movie.
I thought that was terrible as well because it felt to me it felt like the entire show half measures and all the things that matter, and full measure and all the things that don't. In
Mm-hmm.
space, no one can. It was just lazy. Like for my channel, I use Chat GPT to help me figure out titles for
Yeah.
videos because I'm stupid and slow and I don't want to waste time figuring out the perfect one.
Mhm.
And that is exactly the kind of title that it will shoot out. Like that's a Chat GPT. Oh yeah, let's in space. No one can hear you.
Poop.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, like I said, I have notes going through the episode, at least to kind of signal where we are scene by scene.
Hmm.
Um, so if you want me to do that, just to kind of, unless you have those notes.
I do have notes as well, going scene by scene.
Okay, perfect.
Well, roughly. I mean, I think there's some like little scenes that I didn't have um noted just because like nothing happened of note. So,
Yeah,
so you can fill in the gaps
which
for.
got you covered.
Okay, so this the opening kind of roughly continues off how we ended in the last episode, where slightly uh lured, quote unquote, or semi got Arthur into the lab and
Yep.
got him to make out with a facehugger. And so our episode opens with Slightly in his room with Arthur's body and the facehugger still attached to his face.
And I gotta say, I don't know if this is a plus or a negative, but the gurgling noise effects that were being made as the face hugger was sort of latched onto his face, and slightly he's looking, he's kind of sweating and obviously feeling a little bit of guilt. There was this gurgling noise that they did that really freaking grossed me out. I Not a lot of things will gross me out sound effect wise, but gurgling, hmm, nope, not for me. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to put that as a positive point because it's supposed to be horror and it unsettled me. So, good job.
It
There's
was
a
about
knock on the door, though,
well,
interrupting slightly.
oh, that was
Oh,
that's jumping even further than mine. I started nitpicking right
oh,
away,
you
man.
go.
Oh, I went back hard. I mean, there's the obvious one I could have gone with is like, how did he get here from the secure lab? Like, down, Benjamin, easy, ease up, ease up. It happened off screen. Don't worry about it.
There's going to be more in this episode like that.
Yeah, I think so. It's the whole continuity like thing. So where Slightly comes up and he's like, oh, he's all he's very remorseful, but not enough to stop what he's doing, and he comes up with that little bottle with a straw and lifts the side of the face hugger to get the straw to Arthur's mouth.
Yeah.
It's like these. I know it's a nitpicking detail, but in all the other movies, the face hugger like covers like so much. Like to get at the mouth, you got to really lift this sucker. And in other movies, when they've tried, this thing gets aggressive, starts wrapping it around the neck, and
Yeah.
this it just chilled there. He got him in there,
No,
got the
it did. It did tighten a
It
little bit
did. It
around his
did. It
neck.
did. But it was after he actually got the straw in there, and Arthur. It did look like he was
Oh, yeah.
actually. It looked like Arthur was actually able to drink, which also doesn't make sense because he's unconscious. And
Well, he's also got this thing down his throat, and when you have something down your
mhm,
throat, it's swallowing is
mhm.
hard.
Yeah, so just and then as he's doing it, so then it the legs kind of spasm and it locks in tighter, and then he backs off. But
You
it's
know,
again little things like that I'm like, okay, it doesn't line up with what we know of what this species does, and B, why? Like, why was this even? It just I know it's a bit of a nitpick, but it was just
I
why
can
bother even?
appreciate what they were trying to do, but I agree with you that the it doesn't seem like he would have been able to even get the straw to his face without it going. But I
Hmm.
do appreciate what they were trying to do with the scene. It's a child who's trying to. I can't believe I'm actually going to bat a little bit for this. Not too much. Don't get excited. Um, but he's a child and he's guilt ridden and he's still trying to take care of him.
Hmm.
Not knowing what the end result of this will be. We know what it's going to be. He doesn't know what it's going to be. And it's almost endearing. Endearing is a really strong word. It's just the only one I could think of. But I agree. I don't, it's a nitpick, but I agree with it. We're going to have a pretty epic, I don't know, epic, but we'll have a bit of a nitpick later on
Hmm.
that also involves slightly.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
All right, yeah, back.
that's
Okay,
foreshadowing.
now we're jumping to going to where where you
Right, yeah,
uh,
Smee. He shows up. He's knocking at the door. What are you doing? Come on out. I haven't seen you in a while. Blah blah blah. And then eventually forces his way in, and he comes in, and slightly standing there, kind of weird. And Smee goes, "What are you doing?" Side note, maybe this is a nitpick, and I've already harped about this before, but this guy who plays Smee is one of the worst adults trying to play a child I have ever seen in my life. Like 12-year-olds, they don't know what to do with their arms. He takes that to just this comical level.
mhm.
Anyway, I'm sure he's a nice man. And he looks over the shoulder and he sees that what's his name, Arthur, is underneath the blanket, but slightly didn't left his arm out. Um, so what is that? What did you do? Opens up. Oh, he freaks out and he actually makes a proper response.
Yes.
One of the weird things in the show is people don't make appropriate responses for horrifying things. At least he freaks out at this. So I'm going to give that another point. Um, and slightly explains why he's doing it, kind of, sort of. Says that he's going to be okay, but we have to get him somewhere. We have to get him to the beach. And then Smee agrees to help carry him. Um, I don't. I just watched it this afternoon. I don't remember if he specifically said Morrow, like he's going to take it to Morrow, or he just needs to take it to somebody. But I think he lets him know he's doing it for his mom.
Yeah, I do remember something like that as well.
And so he agrees to help, and then that's all I have for that scene.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add.
Next scene, everybody's favorite character, Kersh. He's walking down the hallway. There's an alarm going on. There's lights going on, and he walks into the laboratory. He sees Isaac is dead. Um, the security is capturing the escaped flies that are just kind of busily eating metal. Uh, Boy Kavalier enters the room. He makes a terrible Peter Pan joke. Uh, he says, "Oh, what's wrong? Oh, it's Isaac. Yeah, he's the flies got him." And then Boy Cavalier says, "I shall send him to bed without supper. Get out of here." And then he says, "Well, he's dead." Oh, okay, well, we can just. How are we with the uploading process? Can we just reintegrate and re-upload his mind to a different body? Well, we haven't fixed that. We haven't perfected that. We haven't figured that out yet. Oh, well, there goes $6 billion. Try not to be so sad. Okay, cool. Um,
I mean, it does line up with his character and everything. Of
Kind of does. I would have expected a tech mogul. Mogul.
yes,
I guess
mogul,
the word. I would what?
mogul. Yeah, that would be the right word.
Mogul. I'd expect a tech mogul to have a bit more of a reaction to something that was supposed to be, um, what's the freaking word? Prototype.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I'm not going to nitpick about that. I hate his character, so whatever. And yeah, we haven't cracked it, so we don't know if we can. And then they go and they watch the security footage of the sheep distracting Isaac, and they make this really big deal about the sheep butting his head. Remember when
Yeah,
Isaac's going in to feed and then
yeah.
bonks it? They make a really big deal about it, but they already know it's intelligent. So why are they acting like they just discovered that it's intelligent? It seemed weird. We it's already been established. We know it's smart.
Mm-hmm. Like, especially,
Um,
yeah. It the thing, yeah. They did make a big deal, especially the part where they're like, oh, why would it do that? It's no benefit to it. Why would it do that? Which I'm like, okay, I guess, but what does it? Yeah, like what is it? What does it matter?
yeah, it just it what's the word like what it feels like is exaggerated drama.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. That I was having a similar thing of trying to formulate
I don't know
why.
what there's a term for it. I just don't remember what it is, but
Yeah.
it's just where you exaggerate the drama, and it feels out of place, but it's meant to evoke a certain emotional response from the viewer, but it's
Hmm.
not earned.
Yeah.
This is in good movies and bad movies. I saw a really good example of how bad that can be in Dune 2, which we just watched recently, and I freaking loved it. Go
Oh,
watch
good
Dune
one.
2 if you
Oh,
haven't.
we
But
went.
there were
Chantal and I
moments
saw
like
it in
that.
theaters.
Oh,
Chantal and I, yeah, we went and saw it in theaters. Oh, it was great.
it was so good. But we're not talking about Dune right now. We're talking about
Yes.
Alien. Isaac, excuse me. Wendy enters the lab, which again, why does she have access to the lab? Whatever. Okay, we've done that. She finds out that Isaac is not doing so good. He's dead. And Boy Cavalier tells her not to tell the others. And she says, well, I'm going to tell the others. And he says, well, you're not. And then two guards stand in front of the door. And she says, get out of my way. And then they look at Boy Cavalier and they don't move. And then she decides to do a little bit of a flex, which just felt so Disney cringe. She starts
Yes.
to do her churling, like the
Yeah, that little
whatever
clicking
the
thing with
hell that is.
our mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, and then then the alien butts its head against the because the aliens also in this laboratory.
Yeah.
Keep in mind they
Yeah.
keep the specimens sort of in all of these things. Butts its head against the thing, and then Boy Cavalier says, "All right, let her go," and so she leaves. And then he says to Kersh, okay, well, we have to get to all the other children before she does. And then that's when Kersh finds out that the tracking has been disabled.
Hmm.
Um, and they go, oh no, uh, oh my, what are we going to do? Um,
Turn it back on.
yeah, because I think it was the previous episode
Hmm.
when Arthur turned it off, it looked like the controls they weren't in a secret folder.
Hmm.
They were just kind of right there on the function bar.
Yeah.
Um, just and Kersh is an AI. What can he just plug in and frickin' do it himself in his mind?
Oh no, he doesn't have the crazy hacking powers that nobody knows how they work, and they're just there. He doesn't have those, so he can't interface with tech at all, even though he interfaced with it on the not Nostromo.
Inconvenient.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Did you I'm trying to think if there's anything? Did you have any other descriptions for this scene? Because I have a few thoughts that just kind of bug me.
I'm really holding back on on the negativity, so I'll let you go, and then maybe I'll feed it.
Okay. That's fair. Uh, this was again. This I know is 100% nitpick. It just the actress who plays Wendy. I think she does a really good job of playing a child in an adult body kind of thing. There's a bit of the whim.
Mhm.
There's a bit of the whimsy of a child. There's
Yep.
the excitement for adventure, the new. Like she's talented. I really
I
think
think she's
she,
talented.
yeah, I think
I
she could
think.
have done a lot better. She could have done a lot with a far better script. But there's
Mhm.
just certain parts, things that when there's certain things that are required her for a scene that just don't work. And I think
Yeah,
we may have covered it before about anytime she needs to be the in charge person in the room,
it doesn't work.
just crashes. And that look, I know this is a stupid thing, is the way she can who does her face when she does that little pucker to make the sound for the xenomorph just looks so stupid. And I'm not sure if you'd say pretentious, but it's so has this superiority look to it, but
She
so
gets
dumb.
preachy.
Yeah, yeah, just that look, and I'm just like, you just look so dumb.
Yeah,
And it it's one of those things like in this scene. I think it's supposed to look like a warning face kind of thing, but it doesn't look like that. It just
yeah,
looks so stupid. But I know that's
yeah.
a
She
nitpick.
she
That's me.
nails the bright-eyed child look. But and this is not the first time she kind of gets preachy, but it really ramps up in this episode and then into the next episode. And
Hmm.
it is not, it just, it doesn't work really good. Like
No.
she, again, I like her as an actress. I'd love to see her in something better.
Hmm.
I genuinely would.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a super well-known actress, you know, and, when I see a good actor or actress really young, I feel bad for them that their first big hit or their first big show is absolute dog feces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the haircut doesn't help either. Uh, but yeah, she kind of gets that. I know what you mean. And you know what? I kind of when Ashley and I were talking about it, I hesitated to bring that up because I didn't want it to sound like oh, that's just you being a guy and just she brought it up to me. She's like, I hate her face when she gets that way. It annoys me so bad. I'm like, right, me too.
I would just love when our wives validate how we feel.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love it.
Anyways.
It's this is definitely one of those shows. I hate it when sci-fis do this. I hesitate to call this sci-fi because it's not scientific and it's just bad fan fiction. But I really hate it when the tech it's like when you see a magic system that has it's inconsistent in how it operates.
Hmm.
And there's hard systems and soft systems or loose systems, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Operate within the rules of those. With science fiction, when it comes to the technology, I don't know how it actually works in this world.
Hmm.
I know how it works in the alien universe. I don't know how it works here because sometimes you have access to everything and you can do anything and whatever. But then when the plot needs it to not be that way, all of a sudden everyone's dumb. It's like, oh, I don't know. That's weird. I can't figure this out. And it happens to characters that aren't just supposed to be smart. They actually are smart. Like Kersh, he is a smart character.
Hmm.
He does stupid things at times, like everybody, but he does come across as a smart character. And just stupid things like this, just I don't know how the science works in this world,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
annoys me. Um, I would, yeah, no, actually, that's a tangent. I think I made my point.
Let's see. I believe the next scene is
Nibs
Joe.
room.
Yes, with Joe, Marcy, and
Oh, is
Wendy.
it before? Oh, yeah, sorry. Before Nibs room, you're right. Wendy and
Hmm.
Joe meet up in the hallway.
Yeah, and
They,
decide to leave. And Wendy wants to bring the others.
yep.
And then Nibs wants to go too. Like
Yep.
I went fast and loose with my notes on these scenes because so little happened.
Yeah,
And
no, there's
yeah.
yeah, Wendy meets with Nibs and Curly in Nibs'
Hmm.
room, tells him that Isaac's dead. And then Curly and Wendy have this weird little argument about Boy Kavalier. The show's really trying to make us believe that Curly has a reason to like Boy Kavalier, or at least like the idea of becoming his favorite.
Hmm.
And just like everything else, it's half baked. They could have had a nice little rivalry
Yeah.
between Wendy and Curly. That could have worked really well. But again, just like everything else, they don't they don't go all the way with it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and so they have a little argument. Oh, you don't know what he's like. He's smart and he's this and that. And no, he's actually bad and evil. You're like, God, I feel like I'm on Blue Sky, alternative Twitter.
Oh, right, that one. I
Yeah.
forget I forget that exists.
Yeah, I do not have a Blue Sky. I just every once in a while watch someone who will pull up Blue Sky and I go, oh boy, I am so glad I'm not in that world. Um, oh, yeah, there's not a whole lot. The very next scene, I have a few things to say about it.
Is this the slightly scene, or are you talking about where Wendy hacks into the
This is where Wendy's villain, I call it her villain arc,
mm, hmm.
where her villain arc begins.
Yes.
So it goes immediately from the bedroom with Nibs to she's tapping into the computer, hacking into the computer, and she's doing her weird little spooky magic with it. And then she hacks into the Xeno cage. In the laboratory, they got a bunch of security guys who are watching things, and then they've got mechanics and cleaners and just innocent people
Hmm.
just sitting in there cleaning up the mess. And then she opens up the Xeno cage, and the Xeno comes out and just tears through them, slaughters them. And up to this point, even though the show was what it is, I was surprised by this because Wendy again is supposed to be the moral balance of the
Hmm.
show. I don't Up to this point not doing it perfectly by any means, but at this point she is the good character that we are rooting for. She's the responsible one. She's Wendy. In
Hmm.
Peter Pan, Wendy is the character that acts more adult than the other adults.
Yeah.
Here, she releases the Xeno. She knows fully what she's doing. Now she's evil
Hmm.
in my mind. Um, and that's when the show went from bad to worse for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think that it could. I thought that was the point where the creators shot themselves in the foot and they did not know that they did it.
Yeah. 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 There are no one can. I'm like, nope. There's plenty of opportunity to really get into it. We'll have more examples later on, but
Oh, we will.
yeah.
She's
Nope.
supposed to
Nope.
be the good character. She's supposed to be the moral one.
Hmm.
And I've heard people like Nerdrotic talks a lot about misplaced morality and how
Hmm.
it's really more of a reflection of the writers.
Yeah.
The writers clearly think that if you are in the way of girl boss empowerment, then you're automatically evil. Your life is forfeit. That's their
Yeah.
morality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she is 100% a girl boss icon
Hmm.
and not even a good one. She lacks everything that a Ripley was, for instance. And Ripley was the best kind of girl boss.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even actually denigrate her with that term girl boss. I hate that term so much. And they're doing that with her. And that's the morality. If it's good for the girl boss, then it's good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
rant over for now. I hated it. This scene, honestly, it really bothered me.
Oh,
And I should have been happy that there was finally some frickin' Xeno bloody violence. And I wasn't.
there's another scene similar to it
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you probably know which one I'm talking about. That it doesn't even involve Wendy, and I'm like, you guys now you're just being mean.
Is this with Arthur?
No, no.
Okay, because
Okay, it's
we'll
very
get
short. It's very smart. It's easy to like write it off. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
when
Um,
we get there. Okay.
yeah, that'll be next episode. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, she does her whole hacking thing. Oh, I just that's so we've already ranted about how stupid the hacking stuff is. All right, now
Again,
we.
it would have been cool or nice if we actually knew how it worked, but
Mhm.
we don't have an idea of what the limitations of her abilities are. And anytime you introduce a magic system or a science system, you need to also let the viewers know the limitation, so that way they know it's not like a magical whatever the plot needs sort of
Mhm.
a thing,
Yeah.
just convenience.
Mhm.
And they don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake.
It reminds me of. I'm assuming you've seen the iRobot with Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Adaptation issues aside, there is a deal with the whole dealing with robots going alternate to their programming. There is a scene or whatnot where you hear I forgot the doctor's name, but a recording of him talking about um oh yeah, the phrase he called it was ghosts in the machine, random segments
Hmm.
of
Yep.
code that create, protocols and whatnot, and implying that added sentience and code changing a few things and whatnot, and adapting, and which I think was their way of kind of explaining why certain robots were acting the way they were
Yep.
and whatnot. And whether it was a good explanation or not is beside is up for debate. But the fact that they actually tried and gave you something to go with rather than just, hey, the robots are adapting because the plot requires it, that gave a bit of a
Yeah.
why.
I liked that movie too. It was like you said, adaptation issues. I wouldn't expect to read the book and then read the movie and go, "Hey, what the hell?" But I mean, it's a fun action movie. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Terrible,
does it.
honestly, a terrible adaptation, honestly, but a fun movie.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Not that I've read the book, so I can't
Okay.
say that from.
Yeah, I do recommend you check out the book, and then I keep on bringing him up. Feral Historian actually did a video discussing a proposed script before that was done. I think it was like just after Star Wars or something, that there was a script written up to do an iRobot movie. It would have been
Okay.
like very high concept. I know this is kind of going off on a tangent.
Hmm.
Very expensive. Would have probably bombed at the time, but would have really fit with the spirit. Like as an adaptation, yes, it would have been still quite different, but it would have felt met the spirit of Asimov's book. And like the way he was describing it, I was like, dang it, we missed a good movie. But anyways,
I hear
that's
you.
a tangent. Okay.
I want to watch that movie again now. Next scene, Boy Kavalier, Kersh, and Kersh meet with Dom Sylvia. They ask her where Arthur is. She doesn't know. She says, "Oh, he left on the ship." And they said, "Nope, he sure didn't." And that's the scene.
Wow, I didn't even write that down.
Like I said, I went scene by scene just so that way, because I figured, if people are going to be tracking along with
Mm-hmm.
the episode, it'll help them to at least get the progression of the story as it goes along, even if nothing really happens. The
Yeah.
next scene, it's back to Kersh. I guess he's coming away from the meeting. They're still kind of high alert in the facility, and Smee. I keep wanting to say Smee because the Robin Williams Hook movie, 1991,
Yes. Yeah.
they referred to him as Smee. That's me. But Smee, the late and great Bob Hoskins, God rest his soul. And he finds Smee and Slightly carrying Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some sort of form of fireman pull, I guess. And they look at him like deer in the headlights. And he says, "What are you doing?" And he's this and that. No, what I mean is, why aren't you just taking the direct route in the service elevator? And he goes over and he keys it and opens it up and says, "Don't be late." Yeah, he says, what did he say? I wrote it down. It says, "You're gonna be late." So they're confused, and then they look at him, and they go into the elevator. And as the doors are closing, he says, "Be safe," and then that's it. And so you're thinking, okay, okay, all right, this is interesting. Spoiler alert: it's actually not that interesting, but you think that it's going to be. More on that later, I guess. I got nothing else to add to that.
No, no
It could
other.
have. I mean, if later on down the road, and again, spoiler alert, it doesn't pay off in any way. This could have been interesting, actually.
Mhm.
I was interested when I first saw it, and
Yeah,
then we'll get to the other stuff later.
yeah.
Um,
I was also like, oh, interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Finally, something interesting.
Yeah. No.
All right. Let's see.
Jungle, Wendy, Nibs, and Joe, they're in the jungle and they find their gravestones, which was an interesting scene. I just feel like it should have happened earlier in the season.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they could have made it a better moment emotionally if it wasn't wrapped up in sort of, as the tension is rising. I feel like they could have actually, that would have been a really good emotional moment.
Mhm.
Um, this is kind of where we see Nibs crack even more, even though she's already cracked, she cracked more. And I thought it could have been a really good scene. And instead, it was overshadowed by everything else.
Yeah, yeah. I think this scene, I think would have been actually far more impactful, like you said, if it happened earlier. And I think if they had perhaps Joe find it
Yeah.
when he's having his whole thing, like even probably even after the scene, one of the scenes where he was talking with Kersh about, hey, when can I take her home, kind of thing. Like after that scene, and then he finds the graves and it just hit, and then he sees the gravestone and the name, and then it gets to hit him that
Oh,
his sister is not here anymore.
that actually would be awesome. That actually that would be awesome. Earlier, and Joe is involved. You're totally right.
Thank you.
Just saying, if they had hired us, we'd be rich, and the show would be, well, I don't know if it'd be great, but it'd be better than what it is. That's
But like,
optimistic, I know.
yeah, it is optimistic. Hey, we get to have like nerd erotic, and all the people get to we get to the ones to get pooped on by everybody. We get to get famous um vicariously through that.
Yeah, right. Just kind of ride their coattails by invoking their name.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously though, if you're listening and you don't know who Nerd Roddick is, check him out. He is awesome.
Yeah, on a side tangent, I think there's like a lot like it's funny. Like I like him. There's a lot I disagree with him about, which is funny. Like I'd say I only agree with him maybe 50% of the time. 60 it doesn't matter, but it just I just find it funny that I do like the guy, even though I disagree with quite a few of his viewpoints, but I just find funny.
He's entertaining and he's genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, they find, yeah, they, right, moving on. Ah, yes.
It's worth noting that at this point, the show is making a point that the jungle is being patrolled by security
Mm-hmm.
patrols quite extensively.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so as they're looking at the gravestones, they hear the security off in the distance, and they see them going through the jungle, and they go, "Oh, shh, we got to be quiet," and they move off.
All right, now we
Um,
we go back to Smee and brain. Man, my brain is not
Slightly,
working. Thank you.
no worries. I write it down so I don't have to remember. Um, this scene bothers me a whole lot. So Smee and Slightly are bringing Arthur through the jungle,
Mm-hmm.
like always, and they hear more security guards coming, so they move off into the bushes and they hide. Security goes by, and they turn around to see Arthur or to look for Arthur, but Arthur's not there. Now, obviously, we've we've done this song and dance before. We know where he's going. But the fact that he was able, this man who was unconscious for however no God knows how long, groggy, waking up from the worst sleep possible, we already know that people who get face hugged are really out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, as security was going past, managed to get unface hugged, stand up, not get heard, seen, noticed at all, to the point where these two Looney Tune characters turn around, oh my God, where is he? Oh, where is he? And then they step on the dead face hugger. And am I going to get in trouble if I do an Indian accent? Sorry, I don't mean to be offensive. I just, appropriation is appreciation, I heard someone say. Anyway, and they step on it, they freak out, and then they hear Arthur say, whoa, where am I? Where are you guys? Or not, where are you guys? Where are we? And it just felt stupid. Did you see this? Actually reminded me a whole lot from the scene. Did you see Jurassic World Afterbirth? I mean Rebirth.
I know I hadn't.
Okay, there's a scene in there. No spoilers, but there's a scene in there where there's a T-Rex sleeping by the river, and it's feasted, so it's asleep, and heavily so. And there's a little boat that needs to like an inflatable raft that they have to sneak up there. And so there's this camera shot where the girl gets the inflatable raft to the water, inflates it, and then it goes poof, right, and it covers up the T-Rex. It's making this whole thing where she's being sneaky, and the raft poofs up, and then it just kind of falls down, and then the Rex is gone. There was no sound, nothing. It reminded me of that. That's some Benny Hill stuff right there. It's like, I'm sorry, guys. Sound still is a thing. I know this is the future and all, but anyway. Maybe that's nitpicky, but that drove me crazy.
It was very slapstick.
It was. Very misplaced. Well, shows up. Oh, and then they tell him that the reason why they're out in the jungle is because there was a gas leak.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually rescued him. And Arthur's out of it, so he buys it for the time being.
I've got nothing to add on that. And then they convince him to follow them down to
The beach.
Down to the beach.
He starts to get trauma flashbacks of the facehugger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Starts not making sense to him. He says, hey, wait a minute. Everyone stop. And basically, in the kindest way possible, starts calling them out on their bullcrap. They're like, no, of course, it is, we're supposed to be here. We're going to meet your wife. And actually, he says a line that I quite liked. Arthur does. He just very kindly says to them, children have to learn how to lie, and you're still learning. I like that line. It was nice. I've said that to my kids before.
It was actually a good line.
Mm-hmm. So he says, we're going to go back, and whatever it was that you guys did, we're going to sort it out. It's going to be okay. And yeah, there you go. Chestburster. Rip. Arthur's dead. Chestburster comes out. Chestburster runs into the grass. Smee freaks out.
Right, because he was also like, shoot, we need that to get for my mother, to keep my mother alive, something like that.
So as Smee is, oh, Arthur, slightly comes around, grabs his legs, and just starts dragging him down the beach. When you got to make an appointment, I guess.
I would say that was one of the moments where the kid, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say his stone. It's not a stones dropped moment. It's I'm locked in. I'm doing this. This has got to happen. Like,
what I love in this show, the camera even does this establishing shot. The camera's pulling back, and you can see them on the beach,
mm-hmm.
heading in a leftward direction. And it's the end of the beach. Like the beach basically just shortens up until it gets to some bushes and a rocky outcropping. Where the hell is he going? There's no jungle to go to. I mean, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but it just, whoops, drop something. It looks like he's just heading nowhere.
Yeah, it wasn't
Lazy.
also wasn't the most clear as to like where he was supposed to meet. He was just like told to meet at the beach, but
Yeah.
whatever. All right. Well, yeah, we got a little scene with Curly and
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sylvia,
Yep.
and Curly crying and wanting her mom. And I thought that was actually a. The show keeps on having like scenes that are good and actually
Mm-hmm.
mean something
Mm-hmm.
if a few more things were established. This is one of
Mm-hmm.
those scenes where it there's ideas here. There again, like they could have done this.
No.
This could they could have done a whole show just about the whole mental transfer of
Mm-hmm.
human fleshy squishy fleshy human to robotic bodies. Like there's so much here. Like this could have been an amazing show.
And the other thing too was the character that they chose for this scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's Curly, who up to this point is basically has the charisma of a wooden block.
Yeah.
Now she's crying and she's upset and she needs her mom. And you're right, it actually is a sweet moment. But why Curly?
Mm-hmm.
Up to this point, Curly literally only has two emotions: no emotions and almost angry.
I
Now
could
all
have
of a sudden she's crying and she's upset.
I could have believed like I still think Curly was not the wrong choice if there was more stuff added.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it could have actually worked with Curly, showing her like because it's established earlier on that for her age she's quite bright and
Mm-hmm.
not naive and wise to some of the more for lack of a better term backstabby ways of the world and
Yeah.
how to kind of work those kind of things. And this could have been a really good scene where her child emotional development is butting up against her knowledge of how the world works and everything. And she's unable to hold the facade, I guess, hold it together of the facade and
Yeah.
the pressure of the world and adulthood when you're not an adult. Like there's so much here that could like yeah, I really think there it could have been so much more impactful if it was just set up better. And I have a feeling that that's what the writers and showrunners were trying to go for, but they didn't put the proper building blocks in place for it.
Yeah. I agree. Because again, it could have yeah, I'm not sure what I could say that you haven't already said. You said it well. It just added to the ever growing pile of missed opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The next scene, if we're done with this one,
Yeah, go for it.
this one drives me a little bit crazy. The next scene, we go back to Slightly and Smee, and they have successfully built something to help carry Arthur. They've built a raft. Well, it's a pretty crude raft, but they just all of a sudden have it. Did they find it? If so, it would be nice to see, okay, they found it. Did they build it? I'm sorry, these two don't look like they could build a sandcastle, let alone a raft that works. With what tools?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not cyborgs like Morrow. You know, they've got all of these lengths of bamboo, I think it is, and they're all cut to size and they got straps and everything. How? This is nitpicking, I know, but how? They just magically got this raft. This show's stupid. It's the details, man. Friggin' details. That's what you know what? I want I want not a prequel or a sequel to this, but a midquel explaining the origin story of the Raft. I feel like that would be more meaningful. So they take they're taking them to a little cove that there's a little opening that leads out to the ocean,
Yep.
and a bunch of divers come out of the water, including Marorrow. They got weapons, they got some pretty sweet gear. It was a cool moment, to be honest. Except I don't. Maybe I'm dumb, but I mean that's a high bet. But didn't slightly seem like the beach location where Arthur got chest bursted wasn't. Didn't it look like he thought that was the pickup zone?
Yeah, the way he was acting, it because he kept on saying like, "Oh, we got to go to the beach," and then they go to the beach and they're kind of walking.
Yeah.
I don't know, just
So he manages to just find Marorrow by sheer dumb luck in a hidden cove area that's is surrounded by overgrown vines and undergrowth and everything, and then that's where they show up. But that's not the beach.
no.
That's a cove. Um, so I didn't feel clear as a viewer where his goal was. I knew what his goal was, not where.
Hmm.
Uh, so I don't know. That felt weird. Where are we?
Yeah,
First, there's
yeah, they're
the Raft.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Morrow showed up and with the strike team, and
Yeah.
kind of choose out slightly for not having the critter inside the body.
Yeah, choose him out for just bringing him a husk,
Hmm.
a corpse, and instructs his team to take both of the boys, and then they dump Arthur into the water, and
Hmm.
you know, rest in peace, Raft. We only knew you so long.
And then so the line that just it stuck with me. I mean, it turned out to mean nothing, but when he says, target one failed, heading for target two, I was
Yep.
like, that's awfully specific. What's target two? Oh, and I had in my notes, Kersh is target two? Question mark. Like I thought,
Mm,
oh, maybe Kersh is involved here.
yeah.
It seemed to hint at something.
It seemed to hint at something. I don't actually remember if there is a target two in this episode. I don't remember that.
I don't
Or they,
recall.
I guess we'll get there.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I got for that scene.
Yep.
Next scene, we got Boy Kavalier and Evil Alfred. They are talking to each other in front of the sheep eye monster thing. And Boy Kavalier is talking about how he wants to get the eye into a human so he can talk to them, and they start rattling off a list of people. And then we have people, excuse me, that they put the eyeball into so he can
Hmm.
communicate with them. You remember in the previous episode, he wants to find something that is smart enough to talk to him,
Yes.
smart, capable of having an intelligent conversation. And he,
Hmm.
for some reason, thinks that this eyeball is the answer to that need. Um,
Because it knows the first three digits of pi.
and it gets it wrong too. I looked this up. So
Oh.
so he puts out 3.14 in front of the eyeball monster thing. And
Hmm.
he says something like all advanced species know pi.
Hmm.
What's the next number? And then the sheep stomps once. Okay, that's correct. The next number is 1, 3.41. And then he says, what's the next number? Like really condescendingly. And then stomps 5 times. That's also correct. The next number, and it takes a dump. So number 2, right? That's
Hmm.
the you know, Get it? And Boy Cavalier freaks out. Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Except two is not the next number. Nine actually is the number before two. I'm an idiot, and I figured that one out. I mean, I just Googled it. So the writers weren't even able to do that much. FML. Yeah, the number is 3.41592. So I just feel like that's a detail that would be important if we're establishing that we have a character who's supposed to be smart,
Yes.
trying to figure out that another character, the alien thing, is smart, and they miss the whole damn number.
That's how I feel. I mean, I know this is another side. That's how I feel about Quentin Tarantino in Pulp Fiction, where he has that verse, quote unquote, in Ezekiel that he gives to and he quotes this whole big thing, and the only thing that verse actually has is the "and you know I'm the Lord when I heap vengeance upon thee" or whatnot. Like the whole big thing he has before that, it's like that's not even close, not even in there. It's just
Yeah, it's apocryphal.
again, yeah, it's all those again, it's those little details that it's
Yeah.
stupid. It's stupid, but it bugs me.
No, I get that. Yeah, for sure. I guess the difference between that though and this is that is an amazing scene, and this is trying to be an amazing scene.
Yes, yes.
Pulp
Soon.
Fiction's a good movie. I think I preferred Reservoir Dogs, but by a very short margin. But anyway, we're not talking about Tarantino films.
Yeah,
Why would we talk about a good film? Yeah.
Okay.
So Evil Alfred says that he'll get a list of appropriate hosts for the eyeball, and I think that's the end of the scene.
Yeah, my note here. I'll add it because I thought it was funny. Where's his twirling mustache? I'm evil and stupid.
We're talking about Boy Kavalier, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, what a try-hard character.
Oh,
He's
man.
easily one of the worst characters in this show, and that is stiff competition.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
There's not one character, excuse me, let's use good English. There isn't a single character in here worth rooting for, except for Kersh and Marorrow, and that is just barely. And that's, again, their efforts, the actors' efforts, amazing, but there's pretty much nobody here to root for.
And I'll also like to just to clarify that I'd say root for just because they're interesting, not because they're good. They're the good guys or anything. Just because they're interesting.
Yeah, I mean that can work.
Yeah.
You know, Breaking Bad, Walter White, not a good guy. I feel myself rooting for him every single time I watch that show. He's a bad dude. But never mind. We're not talking about good shows worth talking about. If you got nothing else for that scene, I think we go to the jungle.
No, I got nothing.
Yeah, we got the jungle. So we got Nibs, we got Joe and Wendy trudging along, and the security team. I wrote down security team, but I think the way that they're dressed, they're actually part of Marorrow's group.
I was unsure about that too because
they had they had the masks up and the same helmets, and they had this kind of the chest gear that offered protection kind of around the neck area.
Yeah, I mean, we're never really given like whether they were Weyland-Yutani or Prodigy. I mean, I assume they were again. I similar thing. I thought they were Weyland-Yutani. I don't know who. I just don't think there was enough guys on the beach to count for this. So that's
the next problem, because these guys were definitely dressed the same as Marorrow's group. Because later on we see the security group again, and we see them in the same room, and their uniforms, they're both darker colored, just aesthetically. I would have drawn more of a visual distinction between the two. I already have complaints about the security team's armor. It's just really just bland and boring. They could have added more character to it. But anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
They could have done a better job to distinguish not just the look of the armor, but at least color
Yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this was Marorrow's group. There was about 6 of them, and I only saw 6 on the beach. But later on, we're going to see Marorrow with a group, and he's got like 7 or 8 dudes with him there. So the math is not mathing.
Yeah.
And so the team shows up, and Nibs hisses at them in the cringiest way possible. Wendy starts doing her whatever, starts making frickin' out with the air, and then the Xeno shows up and completely frickin' slaughters everybody. And you know what? I'm gonna give this one a plus and a negative. Plus, it was good violence. It was good gore. I liked it. It was good. But the Xeno just, this is a weird complaint, but it feels too lethal. The Xeno is a snatch and grab kind of creature. Even in Alien 3, where it's more aggressive, it snatches and grabs. It's opportunistic. It doesn't jump into a group of people and completely kick their ass. It's like it's clawing and twirling and spinning. It's slicing guys in half. It's slicing its legs off with its leg. Which, I mean, I guess, okay, sure. And it just wipes them all out. There's just a bunch of meat and hamburger on the ground at the end. And that's a weird nitpick, but because I love me some good violence in a monster flick, but the Xeno feels too lethal. I know that's a weird nitpick, but as if we didn't get enough affection between woman and beast, the Xeno comes up and Wendy pets the Xeno. Yay. Oh, sorry, we're not doing. Can you blur this out, Disney?
Sure, I'll do that.
I don't know. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And Joe's kind of freaking out, and then she chortles at it a little bit more, and then it runs off into the jungle. And then and he says, "What did you say to her?" And she says, "Hide and follow, I think." How do you know this?
I love the "I think" part. Like, really? Like, through any other points in the previous episodes when you've been communicating with it and telling it to do things and whatnot, you've acted pretty confident about like that you're able to tell it things, and now we're having a "I think" moments. Like, it came across
That's
as
not
like
very girl bossy of you to think. I thought you just knew. My goodness.
I think it was supposed to be a joke.
It was definitely supposed to be cute, funny, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't for me. Maybe it was for somebody else. I mean, if it was trying to be funny, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we can move on.
The Chestburster that came out of Arthur, it's kind of writhing along the ground, and then a net lands on top of it, and it gets captured, but we don't see who it is. We then move. I guess we're coming up to the end pretty quick here.
Yeah, because now they wait.
Thank God. Marorrow and his team, again, the team of unknown numbers, the ones that aren't mathing properly, they enter the facility, the Neverland facility, and then immediately get captured. They're surrounded by Kersh and all of his guys. They point guns at him. It's a bit of a Mexican standoff, but there ain't no Mexicans. If you know that reference, you know that reference. And Kersh has the Chestburster and basically says, "Don't do anything stupid." And you get this feeling that this was supposed to be his master plan. This is why he let Slightly and Smee go down the elevator, and it was all his master plan to capture Marorrow. But why? This is very elaborate and unnecessary. Instructs the security team to lock them up, and I don't know. It felt like they were trying to set up this big gotcha moment.
Yeah, it that scene actually just took the wind out of my sails, like for momentum thing. I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting, and it's like, and they get caught.
Yeah, well, because
And I was like, oh, something interesting is gonna happen. Okay, there's this new element, and the new element was just removed from the board. Okay.
that's one of the biggest. Here's a nickel for every single time I've said this is one of the biggest. One of the biggest problems with this show is it does not know how to deliver a payoff.
No, no, it
It
doesn't.
it sets things up and then delivers no payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever payoff they do, um, it is not even remotely satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm alone in that. I've seen a lot of reviews and critiques along that road, but it's just there's no payoff. Something like this is supposed to be a payoff. Don't know if
Yeah.
you knew that. Again, fun fact: when you're getting ChatGPT to write your scripts, it's not very good at payoff. Just remember that the next time when as you guys are filming season 2, I know you're watching this. I know you're not watching this. Uh, don't use ChatGPT to write your scripts, please, for the love of God. Uh, Stupid show. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last big
Oh,
scene.
thank God we're
Yep.
here.
Wendy, Joe, and Nibs, they get to the boat.
Yes, they get to the
And
docks, and
it's a prodigy ambush.
of course it is. There's a security team waiting on board the boat.
Made up of being led by Joe's former unit.
Yeah, dreadlock lady and other dude. Um, this scene was a mess. So yeah, they jump onto the boat. Security team is on the boat. Wave at me, by the way, when we're out of time. Security team's on the boat. They do a little bit of arguing back and forth. Another security team member that we hadn't met before grabs Nib's stuffed toy and throws it into the water. She gets pissed off at him. She grabs his jaw. She rips him out. It was actually kind of cool, to be honest with you. But Nibs is annoying. Rips his jaw like completely, tongue and everything, and the poor guy just kind of sits down. The other security guards, rightly so, are like, "Holy crap!" and they start pointing their guns. And then Wendy and Joe start to wrestle the guns away. No, don't shoot her, don't shoot her. But then Nibs starts to attack other guards and,
Yep.
grabs a dreadlock lady. And then Joe grabs one of the weapons and shoots her, saving Dreadlock Lady. Dreadlock Nibs falls to the ground, and she looks like she's dead. She's gurgling. She's making the typical gurgling sound that we hear from androids when they die in this series. And she's twitching. And we think, oh, she's dead. And this is where Wendy gets super annoying. She goes, ah, and then she looks at Joe. What did you do? And then there's the music starts to kind of play as the credits are coming, and then there's a break in the music. What did you do? And then the music goes into credits. Like, self-defense, dummy. That's what she. What do you think he was doing? Did you see what Nibs did? No, you didn't, because you're so high on your freaking high horse. Freaking stupid freaking show.
Yep. That was pretty much my reaction of like, oh wow, class of thing. You're the main character. Everything you guys do is right, and who cares who gets hurt along the way, even if they are just doing their job. I don't like to say that, but they're just doing their job. They're not here to hurt you. And
Yeah, it reminds me of all of those shootings. I watch a lot of cop body cam
mhm.
footage where some person will get shot by the police, and then the news caption will be unarmed person gets shot by police. But then when you watch the body cam footage, they got like a 38 Magnum. They're about to pop the cop, and then the cops do self-defense, and everyone's like, "What did you do?" That was me throwing my notes. Anyway,
uh,
I get that's it for that.
Yeah, yeah, that's it for the episode. Hey, I am looking forward to the discussion we get to have on the next one. So,
No kidding.
yeah,
Well, we got one more episode, and it is, well, I'm not, yeah, we have one
yeah,
more episode.
yeah, yeah. Then we'll see
So,
where we go from here. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This has been fun.
it's been great.
All right, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetence.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.